Urfreshtv, V10 here. For an interview for us, it is Dylan from DC Academy, who's making a lot of noise on Instagram, also within the community with his academy program. How are you doing, Dylan?
I'm good, man. I'm good. The weather's nice today. Managed to get a little quick trim as well last week,
Hey.
so it feels a bit better now, isn't it? I think last time I still had a hat on, so yeah, man,
Yeah.
It was better.
Yeah, all good, man.
Where's your trim coming? When's the trim coming?
You know, I'm waiting for my barber. He's letting me down right now, but I don't know, man. It's kind of growing on me a little bit. I might have to keep it for a little bit. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm
Might as well, innit?
get my barber to schedule me in and that. But I see you and your guys are back out there training already. So how's that going?
It's good, man. Yeah, we've been back training now for the last 2 weeks now. So we've got our old scholars and our new scholars involved now. So we just got them in small groups at the moment.
Okay.
Just doing some really not basic, but just some fitness work really, and getting their sharpness back for next season, because we won the league last year, so you want to retain that and do better this season. So yeah, we've just making sure to do some sharp work, a lot of strength conditioning, just getting ourselves ready for pre-season, because pre-season's just around the corner, and we just want to make sure that they're ready, because we've got a few decent games in pre-season that we want to do well in, obviously start the season well as well whenever that starts. So yeah, hopefully we can get the boys doing some sort of contact within the next month or so, just so that it's a bit more competitive for them and not, I wouldn't say boring, but you know the boys, and especially at a young age, all we want to do is really play football. You know, the strength and conditioning, the fitness stuff. For them, obviously, it's good work for them, and I think they're seeing the benefits of it so far. But obviously, they want to be playing games and stuff and be doing some stuff that's where they're competing against one another, really. Yeah,
and I can imagine that's what it comes down to, the competition. But obviously, the way things are right now, it's kind of restricted with what we can and can't do. At least they're out there now, getting their fitness up, and obviously that's a step in the right direction. Ultimately, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just tell the people a bit more about your academy, like how it came about, what you represent. Maybe just start with a bit of a background on you yourself, like your playing career or whatever, and what inspired you to create like an academy yourself.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So when I was when I was in like sixth form, I attended like a college football program with Fulham. So I just done a year and a half there, just because me and the manager at the time, we fell out. And I think from there, it's always been in the back of my mind to try and replicate something like that, but obviously know what went wrong there and try to improve it, and obviously try to give all the players a pathway, whether it be in football or whether it be down the academic route. So we started off in primary school, which we still do now, teaching like PE, teaching all sports clubs and stuff. But in 2018, obviously that was the time I had the idea of obviously making a football academy, and obviously I knew what I wanted to do. I knew the target area. I knew obviously what our aim and objectives were. So I sat down with one of my friends who is now the head coach, Jide, and obviously I told him about the idea, and obviously I would like him to be the head coach of the whole academy. And from that conversation, he was fully on board. We spent about a year and a bit just working up the logistics of things about how they're going to do the education, where it will be set and stuff. And then from last season we had a partnership with Peckham Town Football Club, where we done the education and the football on site there. They played their academy games on a Wednesday, and obviously a lot of them boys went on to play for the first team there, and a lot of them even exceeded that as well, went on to play non-league level at various clubs. Our football academy, we're a full-time academy, so our boys train every day. They play on Wednesdays. They do their education as well, so they can either do a BTEC, an apprenticeship, a traineeship, and obviously we're trying to promote and get as many of our boys into a first team at a non-league level, and most importantly a pro club as well. On that note, one of our boys, like the last 2 weeks, he's actually got a trial at Olympiacos.
Wow.
So over the summer he's going to be going to Olympiacos, but none of our boys know. We haven't told any of the boys, just because we want to put added pressure on him. But we've actually just not included him in our pre-season plans, because obviously we believe and we hope that obviously he does get signed by them. But yeah, I mean, even before lockdown, we had a few boys that was going to go and try out Colchester. One was going to go at Barnet, you know. So in terms of that, obviously that's what we're trying to aim for. And like I said, I think I've done the maths a few weeks ago, and I think 98% of our boys from last year played at a non-league club at one level or another last season. Obviously, that's what we're trying to promote. We're trying to show the boys that, you know, if you can't get into a pro club, you know, why not start a non-league club and work your way up? Because there's been evidence of loads of players that have done it, you know what I mean? My good friend, or my friend, and, you know, a friend that we have at our football academy, Ethan Pinnock, I'm sure lots of people know of him. He started with Dulwich Hamlet, and now he's at Brentford, and he's close to getting a, you know, promotion to the Premier League, and that's all in like 5 years. So we've used that kind of story, and there's obviously other stories as well to try and show the boys what they can do. But with that as well, it's obviously not just about the footballing side. Obviously, we're trying to give them that education, give them that platform just to better themselves as a human and as a man, you know, so that they have them life lessons, they know what life's about. Because at a lot of pro clubs, you know, they're simply just there just for football, and then if they don't make it and get that pro contract, you know, the club kind of leaves them. So we're just trying to make sure when they do leave us, after their 2 years, they've either got, you know, some sort of life experience they can take on, whether it goes into education, whether they go to university, whether it goes into employment, whether it stays in the football industry as a coach, or whether they do make it as a professional footballer. We want to just make sure that we have a positive impact on these players, and especially in the community as well of South London, because obviously we hold that close to our heart.
That's massive, man. That sounds really good, and I think it's something that the community needs in general. And it's really good that obviously it's not, obviously it is football focused, but you're using like the benefits of being in a football team to obviously better these people as people.
Yeah.
In general. But obviously it's good that you've got the education program, you've got different levels of football, like, so you can get them into non-league, and your obviously ultimate goal is to maybe push them onto a professional level at some point.
Yeah.
But I heard, you mentioned that you was at the Fulham Academy, and you fell out with the manager, and you wanted to create an academy to maybe improve in areas that you felt needed improvement in academy in general. So what areas did you feel that needed improvement, and what does your academy bring that maybe other academies might not?
I'll tell you the main thing. I think one thing I've experienced, especially recently, in terms of looking at other setups, and especially where I was at the Fulham Academy as well, I think I've said this to you before as well, but I think a lot of these kind of setups are just focused on numbers, and are just focused on how many can get through the door, because obviously the more like young people you have enrolled onto the program, obviously the more money the business makes. And obviously from a business perspective, that's great stuff, you know, you make tons of money, and it's great. But in terms of player development, there's only so much you can do. So I think there's clubs that have like 60 to 100 players signed onto their program, but they're not really getting that man management time. Whereas for us, we've always said as an academy, like, the most we'll have at one centre. So obviously our South London campus, where it is now, is 25, just because that's enough for the coaches to be able to man manage the players correctly. Last year we had 20 enrolled to our program, and I think the man management was great there. You know, we treat the boys like they're our sons. You know, we can proper man manage them. We know what they're doing outside of football, inside of football. We help them improve individually, with the academics and football inside as well. And you know, we have a really good relationship with them. Whereas with the programs that they got 60 to 80 to 100 boys, like, how well do they know them boys? Like, they may know the boys that are exceeding very well, because obviously they're their favourites, but the boys that are not doing so well on the football inside, how well do they know in the academics or their personal life, or how many conversations they have their parents? You know, like, we speak to the parents all the time. We speak to the boys outside of football a lot, just to make sure they're doing what they should be. If they need any help, we do that. And I think the man management side is what's been so successful to us, because I think the boys have really believed our ethos as a football academy. And I think that's why on the pitch as well, we lost one game last year, and we destroyed all the teams in our league. And because of that, we've actually got like promoted into like it's a Cat 1 league of the football college league. So it's called the Premier League of the Cat 1. So we can play teams now in like Portsmouth, Manchester, like different stuff like that, just because of how successful it was last year. And we want to try and keep it like that, just so that the man management and the progression of each player, whether it is academically or football inside, is fantastic, you know.
Yeah, that's major, man. Obviously, it gives them opportunity to have experience of traveling up and down the country, because that in itself takes another type of preparation. So they need that experience as well. That's massive. But what I would say is, for anyone that's watching this, like, how would they go about contacting you? Because I know you say that you're only going to have a certain amount, like a small squad for like, the purpose of being able to directly give these people the attention they need in and out of the football game. So is your squad for this season full up already? You're set and ready to go, or is there space available?
Yeah, there's still some spaces left. I think at the moment we're recruiting for a few more players. Obviously, we don't want to not give a player the opportunity which they could get. And obviously, when we're talking about squad size, obviously, if there was like 5 exceptional players and we had 1 space left, we would obviously have a little bit of leeway with the squad size. But yeah, I mean, the best way for anyone who was interested is to obviously contact us via Instagram. I think that's the best method, because we're very active on there. So they contact us via there, and then we can obviously direct them how to come to one of our small trials at the moment, which we're doing. So there's small group trials which we can obviously see the players in, and obviously make a judgment of them there. But we are still looking for a few players. So yeah, any players that are interested, if they just follow us on Instagram at DC Football Academy, drop us a DM, and we'll obviously get you in as soon as we can.
Yeah, that's big. So and also, just to confirm, what's the age range you're working with? Is it like 18 to 21, was it?
16 to 8 or 16 to 19. 19 is the maximum age.
16 to 19. Yeah. So they obviously have to fall within that age bracket. And what type of things do you look for in a player? Because I know obviously you was talking about other academies, and those that are excelling, obviously they get a lot more attention because they feel that they got the more chance of getting pushed on maybe. But when players come to you, like, because I remember we had this conversation before, and I think it's really important for some people to hear it. Like, I asked you, like, what's the main thing that you kind of look for? And the first thing you said to me was, are they on time? And I think setting a first impression like that is very important. But what other things around that in general, what do you look for in a player to say, okay, this person has the potential to fit into the DC Academy and has the personality for us to maybe mold him and make him into a better person and make him a better footballer? Like, what do you look for?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just touched base on it there. I think application is something we really look for a lot. So how are you applying yourself at training? As you said, are they on time? What kind of things are they doing that is professional for a player that they should be doing, you know? Obviously, that's what we're looking for. We pride ourselves as, you know, a professional setup. Obviously, we're not with a professional club, but that's what we pride ourselves with. So can you carry yourself like a professional? Because if you was to go at a professional club, are you ready for that sort of the application they're requiring? So yeah, things like timekeeping, things like understanding instructions, and that's something we're obviously looking for. But in terms of what we look for a player, obviously we have a certain type of ethos which you play at the academy, and I think the players we're looking for are players that understand the way that we play, and obviously how quickly can they adapt to certain situations, how quickly and how thoroughly can they understand simple instructions, and, you know, just trying to get them play a certain way for us, because obviously that's what obviously makes us successful on the pitch, and stuff like that. Yeah, so I think making sure that they can play the way that we obviously trying to play as an academy is obviously the most important thing for us, as well as the application as well.
Yeah, that's big. And obviously, from following you on Instagram and having our interview before, which obviously the reception ruined, but I know that you've got a lot of partnerships and sponsorships. Like, for instance, Puma do your kits, and Rocco Cassini is, I know, affiliated in some capacity. Moses Swaby obviously as well, and then you've got Brentford, I think it is. So just let us know what type of partnerships you have and what they're kind of there for. What do they bring to the DC Academy kind of thing?
Yeah, of course. I mean, to start with the Puma partnership, so we announced that in January this year. So they're our main partner. So obviously they provide us with our match day kits, our training kits for the boys, some football boots, some other bits as well. And obviously the players, one thing for our academy is that all our players get their training kit for free. So they haven't got to spend any pennies, you know. I mean, especially a time like now where obviously finances are a bit hard for some people, you know, they haven't got to worry about paying 100 odd quid for a kit. You know, they get a brand new training kit for free, and they get to play in some really good quality Puma kits as well. I mean, our home and away kit for next season, I don't know if you've seen the away kit teaser on Instagram, but
yeah, it's nice. It's the mint green one, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. We're gonna launch it very soon, probably within the next 2 weeks. So yeah, it's really nice. So I think that's the main thing. So yeah, they are like our supplier. So they just provide us with obviously all the training kits, the matchday kits and the boots, which obviously for a young boy, you know, that's like a professional club. You know, they come in, they get free training kit, boots, and that's what we're trying to replicate. In terms of Rocker Senior and Moses, I think, you know, one thing that I've always said is that our main objective is how can we benefit the community. So in line with Rocker Senior and Moses, collectively we've come together, and you know, we're at different angles. We're trying to help the community at one way or another. So obviously, if they are 16 to 18, you know, they can come to DC Football Academy for 2 years, get an education, play for us. If they're excelling and they can, you know, play at a men's level, but they're not playing on a Saturday, can they go play for Rocker on a Sunday, or can they go play for our Sunday team, which is 2 leagues below? If they're not quite ready for that level yet. And especially with Mo as well, you know, he's like here to mentor the boys. You know, if they have any worries, anything to do with that, they can obviously go and speak to Mo. And on that note as well, like Mo's been at our training sessions this week, should I say, and he's obviously had the time to talk to the boys. And if anyone's got any questions, they, you know, go and speak to him privately. And I think as a community, you know, we're just trying to benefit all these young boys. You know, obviously there's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now, especially with young boys in South London. All we're just trying to do is how can we leave a footprint on them and just try to benefit and, you know, make them a better person. And I think that's what our long-term objective is as a group. You know, how can we really change the community one way or another? And then with Brentford, so our partnership with Brentford is that we're their official club partner. So we get, basically they get first dibs on any of our players. So any player that they have a look at and they think's decent, they get first dibs on them. We get exclusive things with Brentford as well. So we've got given 2 free season tickets at a new stadium for next season. Our academy boys get to go and watch them for free. We actually also as well, we get to use their training facilities when we want to as well. So during pre-season, we're going to take a few trips down there, obviously if we can, and let the boys obviously see what a pro setup looks like, and hopefully the first team are there so they can be inspired by what position they want to be in. And obviously they've got a B team as well, which is kind of like that under 23s in their academy mixed together. And we're going to have a pre-season friendly with them as well. So obviously that's another chance for the boys to be able to showcase their talents in front of a pro club, and hopefully by them they're a Premier League team. So obviously it adds value to the partnership as well. So there are our 3 main partnerships that we have.
Yeah, that's really good, man. It's good to have people like Moses involved in the process, because obviously he came up in South London as well. His story alone in itself is inspiration to some of these kids, and for them to see him in person, obviously at training and stuff like that, it can only bring benefits and motivate them even more. And then you've got people like Brentford, if they're going to be watching the games and they're going to have exposure to real life experiences, like going to watch a game live, see the pro setup, it can only benefit them, especially where if you're dealing with like a 16-year-old, that those type of moments can really shape the way they think and what they aspire to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, what do you feel about football in general right now? I mean, I know there's a lot of talent in South London, and you must have come across a lot of talent yourself in South London as well. What do you believe is the main hurdle for talent meeting expectation? Do you know?
Yeah, I think there's two things. I think one of the things is, what is life outside of football doing to them? So are they getting distracted by things that are, draw them away from what it needs to be to become a footballer? You know, I think a lot of players want to become a footballer, but they don't actually know what it actually takes. But obviously they have the dream, the aspirations of being a footballer, but are they doing the groundwork? Are they doing the extras after training, on the weekends, on their days off? Are they actually applying themselves to, become at a certain level where they can be a professional? And I think the next thing as well is just the consistency of things. So at any level, obviously, to be seen, you need to be at a level, but how consistent are you at that level? So are you performing great week in, week out for a club at a higher level to look at you and take the gamble on you? Because it's all right having one good game, but if you're not consistently performing at a high level, how can someone take a chance on you? And I think that's what a lot of young players don't understand. I think they feel like they may have had, out of a whole season, 5 good games, and then feel frustrated that they're not being selected to go at a higher level. But throughout the whole season, are they being consistent enough to obviously climb the ladder and go where they need to be? But I think the first thing is probably the main thing. I know loads of players that were very talented footballers, but because of the way they're applying themselves, again, they used to start to training late. They used to probably not go to training when they was meant to be going to training, not doing the extras. And there's people that weren't as good as them, but just these little things, they've gone on to play at a pro club, and they're still, these other guys are still at a non-league level, or now just left the game just because of these small things. So I feel like at a young age, especially what we're trying to do now, we're just trying to teach our boys, these are the things that are needed to become a pro. And play at a non-league level at a very high level. And if you follow these steps and you do your extras and you're consistent on the pitch, you can go as high as you want to go. There's no roof on your expectations. So, yeah.
No, 100%. I was having a conversation with one of my friends the other day, and I just thought that it'll be good to get your opinion on it. And what I was saying is do you think in today's day and age in football that it's easier for players in certain positions to maybe make that progression? And the reason I say that is, like, say for instance you're a striker and over 90 minutes your performance might not be the greatest, but if you score, I don't know, like 2 goals in a game you haven't played well in, some scouts or teams, do you think they look at the numbers and take that before the performance? And then you get like a midfielder, how does he make noise really? Unless he's got scouts coming to watch him, then he can obviously perform at that high level. It's easier to make noise as a winger or a striker that's getting the limelight, so to speak. Would you agree with that?
Do you know what it is? Funny enough, me and someone had a conversation similar to this actually yesterday. Yeah. Not obviously the same sort of thing, but similar. So I do think that if you're a forward player, and obviously numbers don't lie, and obviously numbers mean a lot in football. So if you're scoring goals and you obviously can do that at a level, then clubs are going to take the risk on you, because you can obviously add that to their team. Whereas, especially someone like a defender or even a goalkeeper, I feel like it's difficult for them to make that progression because, like I said, goals win games, and I think that's what teams are focusing on really. So I do think that makes a difference. And even yesterday, like I said, me and someone was having a conversation, and he was at Fulham. He actually played for their academy, and he got released from Fulham. He's a lot older than me, but he got released from Fulham when he was 16, and he got released because they said he was too small and too skinny, and it was a winger. Whereas now, he was even saying, like, if it was now and he was 16 now, he probably would have got his pro now, because obviously the game's changed, and 100%. Clubs are looking for that sort of athlete in a footballer. You know what I'm saying? So I do think that does play a big decision in terms of what clubs are looking for. And I think even for midfielders, I think unless they're like a goal scorer midfielder, it's difficult for them to progress up the leagues.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you, man. And I feel like, especially in positions like centre backs and defence, and it's like, how do you make noise at a non-league level? Like obviously at DC Academy, obviously you've got your links and whatnot, but some of these players that potentially have the ability of playing at clubs that it's hard to make noise if you're like a centre back kind of thing.
Yeah, but then it goes to a question. Whereas, and I'm not saying it is because I don't know, but are the scouts at these games, are they just outdated scouts? You know, are they not? Are they like kind of out of the loop of what the game now is looking for?
I can only really go by what I've seen with my eyes, and I'll say 80% of the people that I know that go out identifying talent, no offense and no fault of their own, but they've got an old school mentality in terms of what it takes to be a pro or what makes a good player kind of thing. But again, I think that's just part of the evolution. I think slowly other younger scouts with different philosophies and opinions and preferences will come out, and slowly it will change.
Yeah, definitely, hopefully, because there's a lot of talent in non-league, and I feel like because of obviously the way some scouts look at games, I feel like a lot of talent just gets not wasted, but it doesn't get to hit its potential just because of the people watching them. So I feel like a change in football where you know, maybe something happens above where, you know, there a new like range of scouts come out and just a new lease of life, really, just to understand it a bit better. That's
definitely something I'm anticipating, especially with what's happened. A lot of clubs that have financially been hit, and I think a lot of clubs will be looking at that, things like the non-league circuit to identify talent and bring them up. So hopefully we'll see a lot more scouts, a lot more scouts at non-league games, trying to identify diamonds in the dirt, so to speak, and they have a good enough clear view of like the modern day of football and what would fit. Another question I was going to ask you before we wrap it up is, have you ever like had players come to you, because you know nowadays everyone wants to be a striker or a winger, probably for those reasons we were just discussing, but you've seen someone come and they're I'm a striker, I'm a winger, but you identified that they could probably benefit in other positions, like Wan-Bissaka, for example, used to be a winger, now he's a right back, probably one of the best right backs around. Is that something that you include, or do you, like, if someone says I'm a striker, that's where they want to play, that's where you're going to play them, or do you say these are your attributes, this is what your strengths are, I think you might be better suited here or there? And what are players' reactions to that? How do you get that over? Because it can come across to someone that's 16, for example, like they might take it offensively.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we actually had one case last year, and he come to us in pre-season as a striker. And at the time, you know, during the training session we played as a striker, but we just couldn't see him playing there. And because of that, he didn't actually start in any pre-season games. He used to come off the bench, and he used to get frustrated with that. And when we used to bring him as a striker, he would, you know, he couldn't score any goals. He had about 20 minutes of the game. He just was frustrated and was just not understanding why he wasn't getting the game time. And yeah, he was just so confused because obviously he'd been a striker his whole life apparently, and then he come to us and he's not getting the game time, he's not scoring goals, and then we actually changed him into right back.
Okay.
Funny enough, so the first day in September last year, we was like, you're going to become a right back. We can see these kind of things in you that, you know, a right back shows. So we actually just play as a right back now. And for starters, he was like, no, I'm not being a right back. That's not where I play, all of this. But we just said to him, you know, believe in us, trust us. We're going to show you your potential as a right back. And then we started playing as a right back in games, and he was getting 90 minutes, and he started to enjoy it. But he used to come to training, and he thought it'd be like a one-off where he'd go back to striker, you know, in a few weeks. And then as the season went on, you know, he really enjoyed it, and he actually progressed so much as a right back that it got to a point where the right-hand side for us was no one could get through him. And I think like near the end of the season, he was understanding, you know what, for me to be able to progress, this is my position now. You know, I'm a right back now. And like even some of our scholars, they start calling him Trent, you know, because he's an attacking, because of that attacking aspect he has as a striker, he's now an attacking fullback. So they start calling him Trent, and his nickname was now Trent. So now when we talk to him, he's now called Trent. And he likes it now, you know. So I feel like because he believed in us and trusted us, you know, he now understands he's a right back, and obviously that's what's expected of him. So yeah, I think we obviously when they come to us, we say obviously what position are you, and we look at them at that position. But if we see someone and we feel like that they're better suited somewhere else on the pitch, then we won't be scared to obviously place them there. And obviously we'll explain to the boys, and we'll just the boys have to trust in us and believe that where we're putting you is obviously where they're meant to be, you know. So I think that's the best way for players to progress.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And one of the reasons why I brought that question up is that that in itself is probably something that would set you apart with other clubs, because I know, especially in the non-league circuit, it's like I don't know a lot of players or managers that would do that. They'll probably just leave the person on the bench, and you know, before you know it, the season's done, and like who knows, like that could ruin their potential chances. They could fall out of love with the game. They may not get the chances that they're going to get if they do that. But so I think it's good to identify people's strengths and try to obviously adapt them and put them in the best position that may give them the best chance. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Again, I think what you're doing down at DC Academy is amazing. Your Instagram's always active. You're getting your YouTube games covered, and you're turning boys to men. So I think it's really, really good. And I think obviously, without trying to, I don't know if you'd see them as competitors, but I think we need more of that in the community, where people are obviously showing people a clear pathway. Do you know what I mean? Because sometimes it can get blurry with all the stuff that's out here right now. So I just wish you nothing but the best. It would be good to if we could come down and maybe cover like a training session or something like that. I don't know if that's something you'll be up for, but if we can collaborate in something like that, that would be good. But you let us know, and we'll take it from there, man.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, you guys are always welcome to come down for our training sessions. So once obviously the guidelines and stuff get loosen a bit, then you guys can come down. Especially for our games, it will be good for you guys to come down and, you know, watch one of our games for next season. It'd be great.
Yeah, that would be sweet. Where's your home ground?
At Urfreshtv Football Club, but we've got a really big meeting with a Premier League club in the next few weeks. So that may change. So
you guys don't
yeah, we got so hopefully, this meeting goes successful, we'll be moving to this Premier League club's training ground and doing everything there. So
wow.
Yeah, but at the moment, at Urfreshtv Football Club.
Yeah, man. Well, good luck for that meeting, man. Obviously, keep us updated. But again, it's been a pleasure talking to you, bro. Reception was amazing, so this one can definitely get uploaded as soon as possible, man. But thank you for your time again, my bro.
Cheers, man.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the weather, man.
You too. See you in a bit. Cheers.
All right, bro. Cool.